Jai Shri Parikashri Shri Guru Gaur Chandra Ju Ki Jai. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ju Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacha Jasta Terasata Shri Shriman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacha Jasta Terasata Shri Shriman Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Welcome to Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Morning Class Dandavat. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jata Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitangstam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadritam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitangscha Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam. Hari Bol. Another wonderful chance and another wonderful day of our great adventure toward pure devotion. Okay, good. We'll keep the clanging and banging to a minimum.
We're done now. 5 minutes. We just need 5 minutes. We broke something. We have to clean.
Okay. Haribo, Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Ki Jai, Srila Om Vishnupad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Antya Lila, Volume 1, this is chapter number 5 now. Ramananda Rai instructs Pradyumna Mishra. And we remember that Pradyumna Mishra, we'll just start. We'll just begin because we're really in the beginning of the chapter. And the last verse was, a person who properly performs his regulative duties according to Varna and Ashram, but does not develop his dormant attachment for Krishna or awaken his taste for hearing and chanting about Krishna, has certainly labored fruitlessly. So these are the definitive, conclusive statements of the Veda in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. Tabe Pradyumna Mishra Gela Ramanande Rastane Rayera Sevakatade Vashaila Sane. Pradyumna Mishra, being thus advised by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, went to the home of Ramananda Rai. There the servant of Ramananda Rai gave him a proper place to sit down. So Mahaprabhu is there, and Ramananda Rai has, of course, received this respectable person properly. And this is something also that we should be aware of when receiving devotees in our homes. Darshana Napanya Mishra Sevake Puchila Rayera Vritanta Sevaka Kahite Lagila. Unable to see Ramananda Rai immediately, Pradyumna Mishra inquired from the servant, who then described what Sri Ramananda Rai was doing. Dui Deva Kanyahai Parama Sundari Nritya Gite Sunipunya Vayase Kishori. There are two dancing girls who are extremely beautiful. They are very youthful and they are expert in dancing and singing. Se dunhe lanyarai nibrita udyane nijanataka gitera sakaya nartane. Sri Ramananda Rai has taken these two girls to a solitary place in his garden where he is teaching and directing them to dance according to the songs he has composed for his drama. Purport: the drama being rehearsed by Ramananda Rai and the two young girls was the well-known Jagannath Vallabha Nataka. The songs and dances were meant for the pleasure of Lord Jagannath. Therefore, Ramananda Rai was personally giving instructions on how to sing and dance for the drama. How wonderful! Jagannath, the Lord of the universe, Jagannath means, but he is the supreme enjoyer of everything. There's no second Lord. Everything exists for his pleasure. And now these girls are learning to dance and sing properly to serve the Supreme Lord. Tumiha vasirahak shaneke ashibena tabeje agyadeha se karibena. Please sit here and wait for a few moments. As soon as he comes, he will execute whatever order you give him. So he's saying this to Pradyumna Mishra. Tabe Pradyumna Mishra taha rahila bashia Ramanandini britte se dui janalanya. While Pradyumna Mishra remained seated there, Ramananda Rai took the two girls to a solitary place. Swahaste karena tara abhyanga mardana Swahaste karana snan gatra samarjana. With his own hand, Sri Ramananda Rai massaged their bodies with oil and bathed them with water, just like you would do for the deity. We have to understand what these things mean. He is preparing the service for the Lord. That is the inner meaning here. Indeed, Ramananda Rai cleansed their entire body with his own hand. Swahaste Purana Vastra Sarvanga Mandana Tabu Nirvikara Rai Ramanande Ramana. Although he dressed the two young girls and decorated their bodies with his own hand, he remained unchanged. Such is the mind of Sri Ramananda Rai. Kasta pasana sparshe hoyaiche bhava Taruni sparshe Ramanandera taiche svabhava. While touching the young girls, he was like a person touching wood or stone, for his body and mind were unaffected. He is preparing the offering, just like we prepare the arti paraphernalia. We cleanse it, polish it, put nice, fresh, clean things there. The handkerchief, the water, the ghee wicks, all these things are being cleansed very, very nicely for the offering to the Lord. This is the mood of Ramananda Rai. Sevya buddhi aropya karena sevana swabhavika dasi bhava karena aropana. Srila Ramananda Rai used to act in that way because he thought of himself in his original position as a maidservant of the gopis. Thus, although externally he appeared to be a man, internally in his original spiritual position, he considered himself a maidservant and considered the two girls gopis. In other words, he's preparing, this is his eternal service. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in his Amrita Pravaha Bhasya, quote, Sri Ramananda Rai composed a drama named Jagannath Vallabha Nataka, and he engaged two girls who were professional dancers and singers to demonstrate the ideology of the drama. Such girls, who are called Dasis, are still employed in the Jagannath temple, where they are called Mahadis. Ramananda Rai engaged two such girls, and because they were to play the parts of gopis, he taught them how to awaken thoughts like those of the gopis. Because the gopis were worshipable personalities, Ramananda Rai, who considered the two girls gopis and himself their maidservant, engaged in their service by massaging them with oil to cleanse them completely. Because Ramananda Rai was always placed himself in the position of a maidservant of the gopis, his rehearsal with the girls was actually on the fully spiritual platform. So those great souls who come into this gross material world, but they are showing that there is a position of so many different kinds of service that are completely pure, more than pure, supreme position. Nothing disgusting or gross, or no exploitation, no nastiness at all. 100% clear like molten gold. Because there was no question of personal sense gratification when Sri Ramananda Rai was serving the girls, his mind was steady and his body untransformed. But this is not to be imitated, nor is such a mentality possible for anyone but Sri Ramananda Rai, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will explain. The example of Sri Ramananda Rai is certainly unique. The author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita has given this description because in perfect devotional service one can attain such a position. Nevertheless, one must understand this subject very seriously and never attempt to imitate such activities. The Prakrita Sahajas are very fond of this kind of imitation, and it is very, very reprehensible, extreme offense. But still we can hear about this and give so much worship, heartfelt worship, to such a wonderful ideal.
I wonder if it can be like misunderstood, because in the English it's saying he considered himself to be. So as fallen souls we can think, okay, well, I'm going to consider myself to be a gopi too. So it wasn't that he was just considering himself that, and because that was his whim.
Yes. So, right. I mean, there is perfect self-consideration, and then there is delusional self-consideration, right? So you're right, that word consider can be, because we have this limited English language, like Neanderthal language, compared to Sanskrit and Bengali. And so considering means we are also encouraged to consider ourselves the eternal servant of the servants of Krishna. That means that we don't, this is not done whimsically, never whimsically, but this is our ideal. This is the ideal within which we live, that we consider ourselves, although we may have many troubles from the mind and the different kinds of conditioning habits that we have, that this is our ideal, that we consider ourselves the property, the slave of Krishna, and the servants of the slaves of Krishna. So in this way, Ramananda Rai did not just consider mentally that he was the maidservant of the gopis, but he really is. That is his inner feeling, his inner transcendental self. So that's good to clarify that. Mahaprabhu Bhakta Ganera Durgama Mahima Tahe Ramanandera Bhava Bhakti Prema Sima. The greatness of the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is exceedingly difficult to understand. Sri Ramananda Rai is unique among them all, for he showed how one can extend his ecstatic love to the extreme limit. There is no limitations, actually, on the service of Ramananda Rai. There is nothing taboo for him because he has no exploiting tendency. He's innocent. Innocent in the most exalted way. So there is no restriction for him in service. Tabe se dui jani nritya shakaila gitera guddha artha abhinaya karaila. Ramananda Rai directed the two girls how to dance and express the deep meaning of his songs through dramatic performances. And again, what are his songs? His songs are expressions in sound of the atmosphere and the activities of Madhurya Ras. And no one can write those songs except one who is extremely exalted in devotional life. But he has expressed those things. And now he's teaching these girls how to show this wonderful mood of divine love. Sanchari satvika sthai bhavera lakshana mukhi netre abhinayakare prakatana. He taught them how to express the symptoms of continuous, natural, and transitional ecstasies with the movements of their faces, their eyes, and other parts of their bodies. Brava prakatana lasya raya ye shikaya jagannatera age tumhe prakata dekaya. It is the restrictions must be in mundane life. Spiritual life has no restrictions. There's nothing wrong with it. There are no chains to hold back the expression of pure love. So we are very much restricted, and we must remember that. But there's no restriction on truth and beauty and devotion. Through the feminine poses and dances they were taught by Ramananda Rai, the two girls precisely exhibited all these expressions of ecstasy before Lord Jagannath. Tabe se dui jane prasada kayo yaila nibritten dunhare nija gare pataila. Then Ramananda Rai fed the two girls sumptuous prasadam and sent them to their homes unexposed, meaning they were not traveling on the street. They were traveling in some kind of conveyance where they were not seen by the public. This was his. They're not something to be enjoyed by anyone else, even mentally. So actually women were given so much respect. Now in the name of freedom, we're all exposed to the mentality of anyone and everyone. But in those days, ladies were deeply respected, and they were not shown like just to be seen by anyone and everyone. Really, it's a mark of deep respect when by a respectable person. Pratidina raya aiche karaya sadhana konjane kshutra jiva kahataramana. Every day he trained the two Dasis how to dance. Who among the small living entities, their minds always absorbed in material sense gratification, can understand the mentality of Sri Ramananda Rai? Purport: Sri Ramananda Rai's service to the gopis for the satisfaction of Krishna is purely an affair of the spiritual world. Unless one is fully situated in the spiritual atmosphere, The activities of Ramananda Roy are most difficult to understand. But still they have been presented here in Chaitanya Charitamrita by the order of Mahaprabhu, so that we can understand, so that we could know such a thing exists. And we should understand it very gravely, very seriously. Mishvera Agamanaraya Sevaka Kahila Shigra Ramananda Tavi Sabate Aila. When the servant informed Ramananda Raya of Pradyumna Mishra's arrival, Ramananda Raya immediately went to the assembly room. Mishvera Namaskara Kare Samana Kariya Nivedana Kare Kichu Vanita Hanya. He offered his obeisances to Pradyumna Mishra with all respect, and then, with great humility, spoke as follows. Bahukshana ila more keha nakahila tomara charane mora aparada haila. Sir, you came here long ago, but no one informed me. Therefore I have certainly become an offender at your lotus feet. Tomara agamane, this was Ramananda Rai speaking to Pradyumna Mishra. Tomara agamane mora pavitra hailagara agyakara kya karon tomara kinkara. My entire home has been purified by your arrival. Kindly order me. What can I do for you? I am your servant. Mishra kahe toma de kita haila agamane apana pavitra kailu tomara darashane. Pradyumna Mishra replied, I simply came to see you, and now I have purified myself by seeing your honor. Adikala deki Mishra kichuna kahila vidaya haya Mishra nijagara gela. Because Pradyumna Mishra saw that it was late, he did not say anything else to Ramananda Rai, and instead he took leave of him and returned to his own home. Aradina Mishra aila Prabhu Vijamane Prabhu kahe Krishna kata shunya rayastane. The next day when Pradyumna Mishra arrived in the presence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord inquired, have you heard talks of Krishna from Ramananda Rai? Tabe Mishra Ramanandera Vritanta Kahila Shuni Mahaprabhu Tabe Kahite Lagila. Pradyumna Mishra thereupon described the activities of Sri Ramananda Rai. After hearing these activities, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to speak. Amita Sanyasi Apanare Virakta Karimane Darshana Rahu Dure Prakritiranam Nagyadishuni Tabahi Vikara Paya Mora Tanumana Prakriti Darshana Stira Haya Kona Jana. I am a sannyasi, he said, and I certainly consider myself renounced. But what to speak of seeing a woman? Even if I hear the name of a woman, I feel changes in my body and mind. Therefore, who could remain unmoved by the sight of a woman? It is very difficult. Ramananda Raya Rakata Shuna Sarvajana Kahi Barakata Nahidyaha Ascharcha Katana. Everyone, please hear these topics about Ramananda Rai, although they are so wonderful and uncommon that they should not be spoken. But we're going to speak of them, even though they're so uncommon that we shouldn't speak about them in the ordinary world. Akadeva Dasi Ara Sundari Taruni Tarashava Anga Seva Karena Apani. The two professional dancing girls are beautiful and youthful, yet Sri Ramananda Rai personally massages their bodies with oil. So what I'm going to do is, I think we'll stop here because we want to read the Brihad Bhagavatamrita also this morning. And we'll begin with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction to Pradyumna Mishra with regard to Ramananda Rai. And we can start from verse 36 tomorrow. Very wonderful. Hari Bol. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj ki jai, Srila Om Vishnupad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. The affliction of attraction of a man to a woman is so severe, and this is why in Vedic society ladies dress in a very in a way as to minimize the difficulty. Don't want to give trouble to our friends. We want to act in a friendly manner and not to try to give trouble in the hearts and minds, especially of devotees. And this is why, well, we don't want to give trouble in the minds of anyone, but especially why we dress in a certain way in the temple. Everyone in the temple wears loose clothing, and this is a type of friendliness to give, not to give difficulties to others. Jai Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita ki jai, Srila Sanatana Goswami Pad ki jai. Jai Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga ki jai. Did you hear any of that?
No, I was outside.
Okay, well, we'll repeat it tomorrow. This will be very nice. Okay, finished?
No.
Ah.
I'm on 30.
No, I'm finished. It's finished with that chopping?
Yes.
Okay, Haridev Prabhu has not been monitoring this screens because he's taking second initiation today. And so he's preparing the wood for the fire sacrifice.
I need to check real quick.
Hari Bol. We're reading chapter 4 of the first volume of the Brihad Bhagavatamrita called Bhakta, the devotee. Now Narada Muni, of course, is traveling from conception to conception of devotion and meeting different personalities who, beginning with devotees, is not leading up to the point of devotion, but it is beginning with Vaishnavas and coming to another deeper stage of devotion and another deeper stage of devotion and another deeper stage. And now he's come to Prahlad Maharaj. And Prahlad Maharaj is the beginning of unmixed devotion. So Lord Brahma, Karma Mishra Bhakti, Lord Shiva, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, and now coming to Prahlad, he is not, Mishra means mixed. So he is not mixed with anything else, pure devotion, in the mood of neutrality. And Narada Muni has come now to Prahlad on the advice of Lord Shiva, and he's giving him so much praise. And now here we are, Sri Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj is responding to the praise of Narada Muni. Sri Prahlad said, "My Lord and spiritual master, please reconsider everything you have said. A young boy simply cannot correctly understand the science of devotional service to Krishna." Commentary. Proper execution of devotional service requires mature understanding, since Bhakti Yoga is not only an external practice, but the natural employment of all the faculties of the self. As a general rule, young children, before awakening of intelligent discrimination, cannot have the understanding required to engage in devotional service. There may be individual exceptions in the highly cultured families of sages and saintly devotees, but Prahlad, considering himself an uncivilized demon, would hardly claim to be such an exception. So he's giving this argument. I am not an undeveloped child. Mahatam upadeshaya palad bodhatame sati hare bhakto pravrittanam mahima padikani cha vignana bibhavo bales upadesha sadihitam artha pranidasa moksha svanangi karanaricha. Still, when one receives instructions from great souls, those instructions have the power to awaken one's higher understanding. And then one can engage in devotional service to Lord Hari. Therefore, it is not a sign of greatness that ordinary persons like me can persevere despite terrible disturbances, give spiritual enlightenment to other children, behave like saintly persons, behave like saintly persons, or show compassion to suffering souls, or refuse the boon of liberation. So this is 100% sending all the glories to Gurudev. He said it is not surprising. When one receives instructions from great souls, then one can do these things that is awakened by them. Prahlad has personal experience of the incalculable benefits of associating even briefly with a pure devotee of the Lord. Thus he ascribes all of his spiritual assets to the mercy of Narada, who blessed him with transcendental knowledge and guided him on the proper path of devotional service. And this is our great example always, that all praise will go to Guru. This is not an artificial thing or some formality. This is simply a fact. A person has matured in his understanding when he realizes that the four basic goals of life, mundane religiosity, economic development, sense enjoyment, and impersonal liberation, are ultimately inadequate. As a natural consequence of this realization, one begins to recognize the great value of devotional service to the Supreme Lord and the Supreme Lord's devotees. Prahlad was not crushed by his father's persecution. He preached vigorously to the sons of the Daityas. He behaved, the sons of demons that were all in his school. He was preaching to them. He received the mercy of Narada when he was still within the womb of his mother. And he became, greatly, greatly exalted Vaishnava. So from the beginning of his life, he was pure devotee of the Lord. He behaved like a self-realized saint, dancing and singing in ecstasy. He was merciful to the suffering conditioned souls. He refused liberation when Lord Nishinga offered it. Srila Sanatana Goswami comments. Srila Sanatana Goswami comments also that the final word cha, and, implies that Prahlad pleased all kinds of people. Prahlad argues here, however, that these are not always signs of a person engaged in devotional service, what to speak of someone advanced in devotion. Thus, Prahlad means to refute Narada's statement in text 4 about Prahlad's having been a great devotee of the Lord since early childhood. But he's not thinking that is the case. Krishnasyanugrahopyebhyo nanumiyeta satamai sachavir bhavati shriman adikrityaiva sevakam. Merely from these symptoms, the best of saints do not conclude that Krishna has given a person his mercy. Krishna's mercy, blessed Narada, appears only in a truly worthy servant. So he's saying, I am not that. That special mercy of Krishna's, being merciful, kind to the fallen and all these things, this may appear in a person who is not actually great, but and that would certainly be the case for me. I am not that person who is personally great, but I've been blessed by a great person, and therefore I can do many things because I have these kinds of instructions. But there's no quality in me that is an individual quality, personal quality of devotion. Bhanumadari Bhattasya Kapi Seva Kritastina Param Vigna Kule Chitte Smaranam Kriyate Maya. I have never performed any real service for the Lord like Hanuman and others. I've only remembered the Lord sometimes when my mind is troubled. But you are a devotee of Lord Vishnu, Narada might interject, and so you do deserve his mercy. But Prahlad replies by contrasting himself with others, like Hanuman, who serve the Lord actively. Even now, Prahlad says, I'm only practicing meditation. I have not yet become proficient even as a passive meditator. So he is deprecating himself, that I don't have any real service to the Lord. I'm only remembering him, and I'm not always remembering him. I'm remembering him when there's some particular disturbance, and then I'm thinking, remembering the Lord. He's characterizing himself as disturbed by material anxieties, a condition that automatically disqualifies him from Nam Smaranam, Rupa Smaranam, and Lila Smaranam. That means remembering the name, the form, and the pastimes of the Lord. A further argument is also implicit here, that remembrance is not the best form of devotional service. Mere remembrance, only remembrance, which are the subject, since it depends on the functions of the mind, which are subject to distraction by anxiety and other emotions. But the pure remembrance of the exalted Vaishnava is not actually mental. It is the pure faculty of remembrance that is inherent in the soul and not disturbed by mental static. This argument will be elaborated more fully later on in the glories of Goloka. Yanmad vishayakam tasya lalanadi prasasyate manyate maikam tattu kasyalilai yitam paraha. You praised me because he caressed me and showed me other signs of affection. Lord Nrsingadev did. But some consider such affectionate behavior merely a show of Maya, and others a display of his pastimes. So, Shankaracharya's school certainly think that the pastimes of the Lord are also a manifestation of Maya. And here is that he is, and here, that is one argument. And then Prahlad Maharaj is saying, and also the Lord is doing many things of his own pastimes. And that does not, he's implying that has nothing to do with my qualifications. So these are all arguments that Prahlad Maharaj is giving, not on not to raise anyone's opinion of him, but he's expressing his own feeling of himself. And this is a symptom of the devotee, that they are not. They're very happy in the mood of humility. They're not reaching out into illusion to get some illusory attention from anyone. Of course, the attention that is being given by Narada is not illusory at all. But even then, he cannot think that it is. He thinks that Narada should go to somewhere else to find pure devotion. Swabhavikam bhavadrikcha manye swapnadi vatvaham satyam bhavatu vatyapi natat karunya lakshanam. You regard those affectionate displays as natural symptoms of love, but I consider them no more real than a dream. And even if we accept them as real, they are still not evidence of his mercy. Vichitra sevadanam hi banuma prabritishviha prabho prasado bhakteshu matasadbirna chetarat. The Lord truly gives his mercy, saintly authorities believe, when he grants the right to render various kinds of service. A blessing he gives to such devotees as Hanuman. Nothing else counts as his mercy. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying, I don't have any service. I'm meditating on him. Actually, Prahlad's meditation is not as he's describing it. But he feels this way. And we don't know those feelings, but we are definitely uplifted by hearing them. But he's looking upward, like everyone that Narada has approached is always looking to the next person who is in a superior position of devotion. And this is the nature of Prahlad also. He's saying his real mercy, we know, is exhibited when he's giving service to others. But I have no service. I'm only remembering, I'm in a mood of meditation. That is Shantaras. Shriman Nushinga Lila Cha Mad Anugrahato Nasat Swabhakta Devata Raksham Parsadadvaya Mochanam. Furthermore, Shriman Nushinga performed his pastimes not to favor me, but to protect the demigods, who are his devotees, and to deliver two of his eternal servants, Jai and Vijay. He's saying that the demigods, he was trying to protect the demigods from Hiranyakashipu. He also wished, Brahmatatanaya dinang kartung bhak satyatam api nija bhakti mahatvam cha samyak darshayitam param. He also wished to uphold the truth of the words of Brahma and others, such as Brahma's sons, and fully display the greatness of devotional service. These were the only reasons for his pastimes. Haribo. So he had to. Lord Brahma promised Hiranyakashipu that he would not be killed on the land or in the air or on the water, and that he would not be killed inside or outside. He would not be killed by any weapon. He would not be killed by any man or god or beast. And he would not be killed in the daytime or at nighttime. And so he came in this wondrous form in order to fulfill Brahma's promises and still kill Hiranyakashipu. That's what his argument is. Haribol. Oh, and also his sons. Lord Brahma's sons are the four Kumaras. So, the four Kumaras cursed Jai and Vijay to come to the material world, and they did, as Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. And of course, in order for that to happen, Lord Narayan was very excited. You can come 3 times as my enemies, or 7 times as my devotees to this world, 7 births. And they chose to come as his enemies so that they could come back to their service in Vaikuntha as soon as possible. So also fulfilling that curse by the sons of Brahma. So Prahlad Maharaj's very, very sweet mood is saying, no, this happened, and of course Nrsimhadev had, came in this way. Parama kinchana shrestha yadaiva bhagavan dadao rajyam mahyam tada gyatam tat kripanuscha nomai. O greatest of devotees who have nothing material to possess, when the personality of Godhead gave me a kingdom, I understood that I had not received even 1 atom of his mercy. Self-realized sages are called Paramahamsas when they've given up all material ambitions. So he's thinking, Prahlad is thinking, oh, Lord Nrsimhadev saw that I have so much material ambition, and therefore he gave me a kingdom. He gave me Hiranyakashipu's kingdom. And so I can see I have none of his mercy because I'm still so materially engaged. And those who really have his mercy are not in that position. This is his argument. Tam brahm shayami sampatyo yasya vancham yanugraham itadya sakshinastasya vyahara mahatam api. As the Lord said, when I wish to favor someone, I make him lose his opulence. Such statements as this are evidence, and so also are the statements of his exalted devotees. So, but he gave me so much opulence, so I do not have his mercy to become a devotee. I have no such sincerity, and I am staying here in this position. Haribo pasyame raja sambandad bandhu brichari sangata sarvam tapachanam linam digdimam yandarodimi. Just see how my worship of the Lord has been eclipsed by my attachment to ruling my kingdom and by my ties to family members, servants, and others. For not crying over this remorse, I should be condemned again and again. Crying over this in remorse. He's saying, I'm not even remorseful. I'm so happy with my kingdom, my family, and all these mundane things. And I'm just a condemned person. Anyata kim vishalayam prabhuna Vishtutena me punarjati svabhavang tam praptasye varano bhave. Why else would I have fought against the renowned Lord at Vishala as if I had reverted to the low conditioning of my birth? So as a king, he fought the Lord. So in this verse, Prahlad resorts to a kind of logic technically known as anyata anupapati, or negative hypothesis. This form of logic works as follows. Devadatta is fat, but we do not see him eating anything during the day. Therefore he must be eating at night while everyone is asleep. We cannot explain his fatness without presuming his eating at night. Similarly, Prahlad argues that there is no way to explain his fighting against Lord Narayan, but to accept that his devotion to the Lord has become eclipsed. All right. Well, this is something about the Narayan Rishi. But we should read this so that we understand. The dual incarnation of the personality of Godhead in the forms known as Narayan appeared in order to teach how to perform devotional austerity. They reside in the Himalaya at the place called Bishala and Badrika. The first and fourth cantos of the Srimad Bhagavatam discuss this incarnation. Quote, in the fourth incarnation, the Lord became Nara and Narayan, the twin sons of the wife of King Dharma. Thus he undertook severe and exemplary penances to control the senses. Thus the demigods worshipped with prayers the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appearing as the sage Narayan. The Lord glanced upon them with mercy and then departed for Gandhamandana hill. Prahlad refers to the... Okay, so now he's saying he fought with them. And then it just shows that he had not really made any progress. He became, his birth in the family of demons, and he was just acting like a demon. This is his reasoning. Otherwise, why would I have done that? It must be that I just still, the condition of my birth in a demoniac family is still with me. This is his conclusion. Atmatatvo padesheshu dushpaditya mayasurai sangam nyadyapi me shushka gyanamasho pagato Gyanam Sho Pagato Damaha. The demons in their teachings are always inclined to bad scholarship about the truth of the self. Because of my association with such demons, even today my understanding is not free from the degraded element of dry speculation. Like impersonalism. This is the wrong logic of a demoniac person. Kutota shuddha bhaktir me yayasyat karuna prabho dhyayam vanasya doratnyam tachinam nishchinomicha. So how can any pure devotion appear in me that would signify the Lord's mercy? I see proof of my lack of devotion when I ponder the wickedness of Banasura. Okay, so we are going to stop here because it's very tempting to continue to read. But there will be initiations this morning with a fire sacrifice and so many preparations to be made. So, Jai, I mean, it is time anyway, but I tend to wander past the time a little bit, especially reading the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. I can't see anything, so I don't know if there are any comments or questions. Haridev Prabhu, are you available?
No, he's not available.
Can you see if there's any comment or question?
All glories to morning class.
Pardon?
Wow, second initiation, congratulations from Antya Lila.
Oh, I can't hear you, Didi, sorry.
Jai, dear fortunate Sri Brihad
I didn't actually hear what you said.
Just everybody just saying congratulations.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Devi Prabhu. This is his birthday. When you take second initiation, you're called Dvija. Means you've taken another birth.
Another birth?
The second birth.
Oh, wow.
So it's your birthday. Jai Parikashi Shri Guru Gaur Chandraju Jai Giroji Ki Jai. And this is the birthday of. This is Dwadashi. Today is Dwadashi. Here it's Salt Lake City. All right.
I'm putting Tilaki.
Jai Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita Ki Jai. Srila Sanatana Goswami Pad Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Hari Raya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama. Yadavaya Madhavaya Krishna Gopal Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Deva Swami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai. We'll be joined by Srila Madhusudha Maharaj in about a half an hour on Zoom to confer second initiation on fortunate Haridev Guru. Jai Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Shri Dvadashi Vrata Ki Jai Sadgoswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai excuse me Saparshad Sriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai Saparshad Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai excuse me Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Mission Ki Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat Ki Jai Kol Kartal Ki Jai Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. It's so lovely to be blessed with your association. Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Bol, Dandavat, Dandavat. Hare Krishna. All right. I don't know how the Can I come in? I brought the pictures of our set up on the table. So we have to have this table completely cleaned off and ready for Zoom. So I guess we can take our time kind of quickly. The Zoom is beginning in actually 20 minutes. It's going to be in the Prashad room. So maybe we can take Prashad. Well, Dasi Maharaj he's going to be here for the fire sacrifice, but this is a private thing, fire day and Sudarshan here. Yeah, that's Sudarshan. So I'm going to clean this table off and set it up.
Dave? Could I come in real quick? Hare Prabhu? Sorry. He's changing? Okay. I'll wait. Perfect. Okay, yeah.
that's for the second phase. But maybe you can wait until it's striking out. And
You need something? I need that.
no, 9-3. This is the link. Which I'm going to send it to you. Oh, he's ready now. Okay. So I'm going to send this link to you so that we have to make it set up.
They give me this, is something for whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah. After you go, I have to set up.
I know, I really like the berries because it gives it a nice color.
Very good, everything there. Nice clean air, clean area. Is there any rain fragrance that we can use for the?
this still going? Bridget, is this still going?
Possibly.
This says active still.
Harry Dave? Can you turn off the live stream? Sorry.
How do you turn this off?
Oh,
Yeah, I think it's still going.
Dandavat.
Dandavat devotees.